Hello, everybody. My name is Megan Graham, and today I am here to tell you what nobody tells you about the Lifewave X39 patches. I've been off of YouTube for a little while, and I was trying to figure out how to come back. If you don't know, I have been using these patches for about a year and a half. I've been a brand partner. I've helped thousands of people at this point with the patches. But I feel like after like a year and a half, you also become more seasoned. You know more. So like when you start, you're fresh faced, you're like I don't know how to say it, you're innocent. And I've just learned a lot of things, and I have still love the patches, wear them every day, enjoy helping people with them. But I also like to really just bring my things that I've learned, my realism, setting realistic expectations for everything, be it the business, the patches, how you do it. So anyway, today I just wanted to talk about the fact that my first thing that I want to talk about is simply that these patches are not a miracle. They're great, but they're not a miracle. So they're actually, a lot of people think that these patches are going to do the work for your body. But what the patches are actually doing is they're sending a signal. So it's a very subtle, light-based communication. And it's really, how do I say this? It's prompting your body to do something that your body should know and does know how to do anyway. So it's not introducing a new process. It's not like taking an aspirin. It's not like taking a painkiller. And also, they're not a treatment or a cure. But they are literally just giving your body a little push. And they're reminding your body, hey, you know how to do this. This is a function that you were born with. And if you're nourished, if you're rested, if you're in the right state of mind, they can make big changes for you. But I think that one of the things that, there's so many, I think testimonials are great. There's a ton of testimonials flying around. And it's kind of one of those things where like the person that has the most, results, if you will, because it's like I started using this and this happened. So can you send me a testimonial for my thing? I think what it all comes down to is that these are individual patches based on your body, how your body works, and they're a gentle, subtle reminder for your body to initiate certain processes. So I think that's a really, really important thing because when I first heard about them, I remember just thinking, there's no way that these could possibly work. And I think it's because there was so much hype going around that it was just difficult to think that these could actually make a difference. Because to me, it's great. If people want to share testimonials, it's totally great. I mean, I've shared my experience of feeling some changes and not having the same level of fatigue that I used to have. But I think at the end of the day, what happens to someone else might not happen to you because your body is not really like anybody else's body in the world. As humans, we all have similarities, but we all have differences, including how we feed our bodies, whether we rest or we don't rest, what our stress levels are. So all of those things are really important. Another thing that someone may or may not tell you is that you may not feel anything. A lot of people think that they're going to put the patch on, and I'm not exactly sure, it'd be interesting to hear what people expect when they put the patch on. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, I wore it for 10 days and I didn't notice anything. It's a subtle change. And so I think it's very important to know you may not feel anything. It doesn't mean that nothing's happening. Things can be happening. It's interesting because things can be happening in your body that are good, and you might not know that they're happening and you might not feel them. Just like things could be happening in your body, and I'm not saying, necessarily from the patch, but just like things in our lives can happen in our bodies where we have actually no idea that they're happening. Something bad was happening. So there's not always a level of awareness. And for the most part, for the people that I've helped, I would say that most of them notice subtle changes, but it's not like they put this patch on and their whole life is different. So I think realistically, it's really good to know these are a very subtle thing. You're not getting plugged in. If you had no energy at all and they put the patch on, it's to me very unlikely that all of a sudden the next day you're going to wake up with tons and tons of energy. You might feel a subtle shift over time, but having realistic expectations is really good. These things are gradual. They build over time. They build in layers. I always go back to the analogy that when you work out, like for instance, I just saw a photo of myself that my husband took of me, and I used to be a competitive athlete. I did, fitness competitions, and I was like, I'm not in the kind of shape that I want to be in, and photos really do that. Like you'll see one photo and be like, that's a bad photo. But if you see two, you're like, I think I need to go to the gym, right? And the gym isn't something where you go to the gym one time and all of a sudden you're in better shape. It's like maybe you start to notice a little bit of a change 4 weeks in, and maybe let's say 8 weeks in, you see a little bit of a change. Maybe like the waistband of your pants is a little bit looser. Things start looking a little bit more flattering, and that's if you're doing your diet and all those things. I think it's very much the same with the patches. And there is this expectation because there is a lot of hype on the internet. And maybe there's a lot of hype on the internet just because people are excited. And maybe there's a lot of hype because, and don't get me wrong, I really like MLMs, but they do bring some excitement and some hype sometimes. I think that, it's one of those things, the hype makes it so that I think more people wind up being disappointed because if your expectations are so high and you expect something instantaneous and things to be completely different, then you might not be happy. But if somebody explains it to you in a realistic way that yes, you may see some pretty great changes over time, but over time with continued use and with doing all the things that you need to do to take care of your body, then that's really going to make, a big difference. I mean, I would call it slow wellness. So my clients often notice just steadier energy, better sleep, really interesting things. They're like, I just feel I'm in a better mood when I wake up. And I think what a lot of people expect, maybe I'm wrong, but they're like, great, when can I ditch all my medications? Don't do that. Talk to your doctor. Obviously, this isn't medical advice, but the patch is not your medical treatment. It's not going to be the one thing that you do. So still do all your things to take care of yourself because those are really important. This is something that I feel I don't hear as much as I would like to. I do have my Stanley here. So as I talk about this, hydration when you're using these patches is so crucial. And here's the funny thing. It's not just crucial when you're using the patches. Hydration, and I'm not just talking about just water. I do like water. I filter my water, things like that. But also we're adding minerals into our water. I buy a certain kind of I think it's called, I don't know if it's Vera salt. So I keep a little bit of salt and I add a little bit of salt into my water every time I drink water too. So it's having trace minerals and things like that. So hydration is really important. Our bodies are actually only going to function and be able not only to do all the processes that they just need to do on a daily basis, but to be able to have these patches do anything for us. If you are dehydrated, and if you're being honest, most of you probably are, you're not going to notice much with these patches. Hydration is going to make a huge difference. And not only for wearing the patches, staying properly hydrated makes a big difference for your energy levels, for detoxification of your body, for digestion. It is so important. Our bodies are made of water. So whether you like to drink herbal tea, coconut water, when your cells are hydrated, you will feel the difference in a few days. And you're also, they're going to be way more responsive as far as the patches and everything that you're doing. So a huge thing, and another thing that I don't think people talk about it enough. And again, I'm not trying to say this happens because it's network marketing, but of course this is a product, right? It's a product that's being sold. So technically, if you're selling something, I'm not saying everybody wants to sell you more of something in the beginning. Personally, I like to start people off slower because I think you don't need to stack a bunch of patches. A lot of people think, and I'm not saying ever, but a lot of people think the more patches I wear in the beginning, the more results I'm going to have, the more of a difference I'm going to have. So, I get it. When I first saw the patches, I was like, I just want to wear all of these at the same time right away. And stacking a bunch of patches right when you start is probably not the best idea. Honestly, it's asking your body to do so many things at the same time. And in reality, if you start slowly, one, you're going to save money. You're not going to spend as much money. You're going to be able to feel what makes a difference for you. And you're allowing your body the grace to have something, basically acclimate to it, get used to it, instead of throwing a million different things. And again, I know I use gym analogies a lot, but I am a person that was a fitness competitor. So I guess the gym just always kind of comes back to me as something that I think about. If you were starting at the gym again, you wouldn't just walk. I hope you wouldn't walk in. I hope you wouldn't be one of those people that hasn't worked out and you're, trying to deadlift 120 pounds and you haven't been exercising. You're trying to run. You're in there for 2 hours. Your body responds to everything better when you respect it and you start slowly. So personally, I don't think you're going to have better results simply by stacking a bunch of patches in the beginning. There are a few patches that I set people up with in the beginning. So I'm not saying that you could only start with one patch, but in reality, my dogs are all circling because they know that my husband is in his office. In reality, if you start slowly, you're actually most likely going to have better results. And you can always complicate it a little bit later. I do have every single patch. I keep them in a drawer in the kitchen, and it depends on the day. So I'm wearing particular 3 patches today because I've been having like higher stress levels, honestly, and I wanted to support my body through that. So I'm wearing my favorite combination that I like to use to support it for that. It just depends on the day, but I didn't start out that way. So that's kind of important. Another thing that I just want to point out with these patches, it's fine if you're all in and you love everything about it and you want to wear the gear and you want to share the patches and do everything. I think that's awesome. I will say most people don't get in. I believe, at least with me, they don't start to just wear the patches and want to share them because most people want to know that something works. You can just wear the patches. You don't have to share them. If you want to, you can share them. You don't have to go to the conventions. You don't have to be like this all-in person that's like part of the whole, it can be a lot sometimes. You don't have to do that. You can wear patches and have nothing to do with the network marketing part. And so it's important to know that when you're starting. It's always good to know, like for me, I don't really care how people sign up with me. I don't care if they want to be a customer. I don't care if they want to be a brand partner. Whatever they want to do is fine. I don't want to force people, like you should share, you should be doing this, or try to motivate people and things like that. I think everybody has their thing that they want to do. And a lot of people are joining and wearing these patches because they have issues. And their first thing that they need to do is like get their oxygen mask on, if you will, and just feel better. So that can be your priority. There's no pressure, and hopefully you choose somebody to sign you up that doesn't pressure you and try to make you do something that you might feel uncomfortable with. Because the last thing that you want to do is be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to share it. So you do what's comfortable for you. You can still get all the benefits and basically have nothing to do with the fact that it's network marketing. And if you want to, like for me, when I joined, I was like, maybe I'll share it with a few friends. Maybe I'll tell a few people. I wound up telling a ton of people because I was so excited and they made a huge difference for me. And I won't get into like every different change because I feel like every time I get into the changes that it made, they're like, you can't say that. You can't say that you have this, or you can't say that this happened. So I won't say what my changes are. I did see a lot of changes, but I won't specify what they were, but they were good. But I also did a lot of other things too. So it's not like I stopped seeing my Harvard trained doctor and just started wearing patches. I did a lot of things alongside the patches, but they were great. And so this is kind of an interesting thing too. A lot of people don't really expect this, right? A lot of people think that when they start the patches, they picture that everything is just going to be like this easy straight line. I've seen a lot of different things, and I'm not diagnosing, I'm not deciding why this would happen. But again, I think everybody is completely different and everybody has a different rhythm. I'm not saying that the patches do anything bad at all, just like I don't think getting in a sauna does anything bad, or going to the gym. But I have noticed that the patches, for many people, they do better if they start a little bit more slowly than the maximum amount of time. And that can vary for different people. I've had a lot of discussions with my clients about this. I started them slower than the maximum amount of time, and I did really well with it. When I tried to wear them for the maximum amount of time, it was too much for me. Certain people, it's interesting, some people call it retracing. Certain people can have emotions come up. Certain people go through periods where they might feel a little bit tired. They might have days where, like, I've had clients that felt deeply tired for some days when they were starting the patches. I have my theories about why that happens. All in all, people have had very good results from them. But I think it's just important to know that, like any single good thing you do for your body, things vary. So anyway, those are some things. I hope that was helpful for you. This is just like, I really wanted to come back to YouTube and bring my real talk, my experiences of what I've seen. Just as kind of a closer also, in the link of the description, I've started a Patreon community, and the Patreon is kind of a little bit more of an intimate thing. I'm sharing a little bit more on Patreon. I'm sharing a little bit about the kind of marketing I do, which kind of isn't marketing at all. Over the past, I think last year, I signed up 1,050 people for phototherapy patches, which is kind of insane. I thought maybe I would sign up like 2 or 3. I didn't force anybody into it. I didn't ask them if they were going to buy. I didn't try to oversell them. I just shared, and that's what happened. I'm not saying at all, so full disclosure, I am absolutely not saying that's possible for everybody. I actually don't think it is. I'll be totally honest. If you look at the disclosure, that's not what most people are doing. But my whole point is I've helped a lot of people. I enjoy it. So I made a private community also outside of YouTube where I can have some deeper discussions, share some behind the scenes things. And anyway, I'm really excited. I've had people joining, and I've been doing some private YouTubes on Sundays and taking questions there. So I hope this was helpful for you. I still really enjoy the company. I would say I'm not one of those people that doesn't like MLMs. I do like MLMs. This has been a great opportunity for me this year. I just always like to bring in a realistic, seasoned, feeling of it. I have the nicest team in the world. It just so happens that I was signed up by a close friend that does not like MLMs, doesn't do the business. She's very shrewd. And I was a little afraid to meet like the upper people that were my mentors, just because I thought they might be really pushy, as I have seen that before. And they're the nicest people. So there's 2 gentlemen that helped me a lot, Ted and Rick, and they are the salt of the earth. Like they would walk through broken glass to help me. So, just like anything in life, like I think MLMs can have their downsides. And I'm not even talking specifically about this MLM, just all MLMs can have their pluses and their minuses, like everything can. But what I've gotten out of this is the people that I've met, that I've had the opportunity to help, have been amazing, opening their hearts, telling me their stories, letting me help them. And the people above me that have helped me, I mean, the things that they've offered to do to help me are so incredible. So that has been a great part of the experience. But like anything, the part that I will say is that it's not passive income at all. And one really, 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 really important thing that I just want to point out: if you're in network marketing, doesn't matter what company, you don't have your own business. A company has a business, and you can represent their product to a point as they allow you to represent it. But it's always really important to have lots of other things going on, because it can be a great opportunity and you can love it and you can share it, and that's awesome. But always make sure that whatever you do in your life, you have so many different eggs in so many different baskets. Because when I owned my own hair salon, that was my business. That was something that I owned. And the patches are amazing. I love to share them. It's just unbelievable what I've done with it. But just be realistic about it, and know that it's just one little facet of your brand and how you help people. And it's an absolutely amazing one. So anyway, hope to see you guys again soon. Hope to see you also on my Patreon if you would like to join. I've had some really awesome people that have joined me over there. And yeah, we're having some fun on Sundays. And that's so great. Just heard that somebody got the copper mug that I suggested. It's from a place called Saratoga Copper. My dog is just barking over there. If you look actually back there on the counter, behind me, I have my Saratoga copper. It's a copper vessel. And what's so special about copper is, for one, copper is important. If your body is going to make ghk-cu copper peptide, you have to have enough copper. And a lot of people don't. I have to constantly drink out of a copper cup and supplement my copper. I get my copper. They always bark, right? Or I'm sorry, they cough during my live streams. It's like clockwork. But I do supplement my copper. So anyway, well, I could go on, but hope to see you guys. Definitely hop over to my Patreon too. The link is there. And if you need a link to get the patches, there is a link in my description. And last thing I just wanted to tell you guys, tons of people have been asking for private consults. Obviously, that's something that I do for my customers. It's something that goes with the service of having me as their concierge. A lot of other people have been asking me. So for my Patreon members, I do have a private consult available too. It's separate from the membership, but just wanted to let you guys know, for anybody that's been, I get a lot of emails. I don't remember who's emailed me asking, but just wanted to let you know that I do have that. I probably won't have it up forever, but for the next few months, I am doing that. So hopefully it's helpful for you. So anyway, stay healthy, stay beautiful, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.